Welcome back to A Slightly Twisted Female. I'm your host, Brittany Rue. And now, after we've watched basically a bunch of men pretending to be women fighting, we are now going to do lesbians. Conservative lesbians versus liberal lesbians on Jubilee. Let's see how long we can play the stream. So we have our girl Arielle Scarcella in there. If anybody doesn't remember, Arielle graciously hosted me on her Rumble channel back when we did Turf Pride in New York. She's based in New York. She is a YouTuber who's been on the scene for a long time, who sort of came up with, Buck Angel, Blair White. It was like Buck Angel, Blair White, and Arielle Scarcella was sort of like the trilogy. And so, I started watching this, and it's like, I like Arielle on like a personal level. I mean, talking to her, she seems like cool. She's somebody I'd probably like have no problem getting along with. I just think she has like kind of a mature vibe to her. And it's like, it's like she's like almost there but then not. And it's like, I want to like her so bad ideologically, but then it's like she started off well in this, but then like as it went on, there was just some like really nonsensical stuff that we need to get into. There's actually one woman in there who I like, and it's like she was, again, I was like, yes, she's based until all of a sudden she was talking about how she does preferred pronouns, and I was like, fuck. So it's just frustrating to me that like in all of these Jubilee things, it's all the far left all the way up to sort of these like moderate classical liberals. It's like liberals versus liberals, except, it's like the classical liberals, versus the neoliberals, right? There's no true conservatives. And I do like that Arielle kind of acknowledges that point. She acknowledges that she's not truly a conservative. She's really just a classical liberal. But, as my point that I've always made about how they stretched everything out so far to the left that it now makes classical liberals look like they're now like conservatives and stuff, and it's like bro. All right, anyway, let's just jump right into it, and we'll see how long Jubilee is gonna let me stream the stream. Dun 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 dun. Here we go.
They have the same.
Tell me what rights we don't have, what laws that we don't have.
Girl, I'm gonna send you.
No, I want to know. I want to know.
Say it now.
No,
if you're gonna sit here and tell us that we're missing rights, that we are not allowed to
what
exist.
do gay and trans rights? Tell me.
We are approaching the 150th episode of Money Round, and we need your help.
No, we don't care. You're not getting money from me.
Plus community has moved too far to the left.
Girl. How many letters are there? How many? 100?
It's difficult because, I think what was once like a very loving and accepted community has pushed so far to the left that, we're seeing this massive pendulum swing that is coming back the other direction that is going to put our entire community, unfortunately, in danger because
it already has.
It already has, because it has gone so far to the left rather than being a good common sense middle ground that now people who did not used to carry a prejudice against us or have an issue with our community are suddenly finding themselves to have prejudice against the LGBTQ community.
We have prejudice against ourselves.
So that's true. I think it was like in the past few years is the first time we've ever actually seen a negative, like a decline in LGBTQ whatever acceptance. Prior to that, it was like rapid acceptance, rapidly inclining rates of acceptance. And it's true. It's like this whole movement has totally cannibalized itself. And shit, and it's just funny too. I just notice the difference in how the women deal with each other in this conversation than the like Jubilee true trans versus fake trans conversation with Blair White. And they say that that women are catty and illogical and emotional. This is a far more civilized conversation than you see with a bunch of like the men who were all squabbling and bickering, and then they all did like 30,000 follow-up streams to like cry about like who was mean to who, and then blah, 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 blah. And then it's like, it was so funny because I like got on, I saw like Sam Lux like did a bunch of streams about that whole thing. So it's like all the like true turns like are all getting in, and they're all like, everybody's all like just like crying, and it's like, I'm sorry, but it's just like a bunch of like gay men just like all being like mamby-pambies about the whole thing. And then it's like the women can actually have like a coherent conversation. I mean, no, I'm sorry, not coherent. There's not a lot of coherence in any of this conversation that I've seen so far from either side. But at least they're like more respectful to each other and like actually able to get into it. But it's just funny. Yeah, the men did definitely get hysterical. But let's see how it goes.
That's true. Even I'm developing a prejudice.
Yeah, like I can't stand lesbians now. Like there are people here, and I won't call it individuals, but there are people here that I was friends with, that I literally went on vacations with, that have unfriended me, unfollowed me, just for simply standing up for young lesbians and gay men who are calling themselves all these other genders, or because I'm not for children transitioning, or just because I voted for Trump, and it's a shame because we don't want to be a hive mind, right? We are, like, the whole point of being, one of the points of us being lesbians is that we're different. We have different outlooks on life. We have different talents.
I feel like with a lot of marginalized groups, the biggest downfalls to them is simply when usually outside groups create division. A left and a right. The left doesn't accept the right doesn't accept the left, and then that divides all of us. Instead of being one powerful group, it just crumbles. We're divided.
Well, no, miss, no offense, but you don't need to be one powerful group. It's like, again, it all comes down to the fallacy and of like making a social group over a sexuality. You know what I mean? It's like, I kind of, I understand the need for community and all that sort of stuff. Max, come on, honey. Hold on, he's not going to let me stream. Everyone say hi and then bye to Max. Hey, bye, Max. You stink. You stink. But he can't. He's going to like snorkel the whole time. I love you. But you gotta go out there. I love you. Anyway, I don't know. Let's just see where this goes.
I think it's unfortunate that sexuality is tied to a political outlook to begin with. That is no longer like, oh, Republicans don't want gay people to exist. Like, that's not a thing anymore. And I think it's so unfortunate how politicized our entire community has become.
I think it's important to note that we're here calling ourselves conservative lesbians, but we're really, like, some of us aren't really conservatives.
Right.
We're just non-leftists.
Right. No, exactly. So conservative, again, and it's important just it's important to remember that like conservatives have like values, certain values. I think that's getting lost, and that scares me whenever we lump these like classical liberals into conservatives. I think conservatives are so important. I think that they really, like, it's like they don't give in to they hold on to traditional values and don't give in to just like hedonism and individualism and sort of like mindless self-indulgence. And it's like all of the things that made our society so successful and that allowed us to flourish in times of great hardship. And we forget what it's like to live through hardship because we haven't done it in a while, because we've created stability because of a lot of these and frankly Judeo-Christian values. We can sit there and we can like mock them and turn our backs on them, but it's interesting to me, when we talk about progressivism and oh, it's progressive to be polyamorous and to, all these different sort of like hedonistic lifestyles and individualism and even like, just being like, secularism. I mean, we've seen these intervals before. I mean, they're written about, again, I'm not like a hyper religious person, but I went to an Episcopalian school as a kid. I've read the Bible several times. I've read a lot of religious texts, and it's like, and if you look in the Bible, we've literally seen this before, iterations. I mean, if you look at, the Tower of Babel, Sodom and Gomorrah, all this sort of stuff, we've been here before. There's a reason why there's such strong warnings against a lot of these like self-indulgent sort of like like where you like center your sexuality and sex with other people and sex with a lot of people as like your entire personality, and sort of what that leads to and how much it's harmful to women and the sort of sexual revolution and how that really is not the big, you know, female liberation that we were told it was going to be. It's actually created a lot of harm. So conservatives, I think, have a very important like function in society, and it worries me now that we're lumping all of these classical liberals and calling them conservatives. It like dilutes that, you know, like we need a sort of balance, right? We need the sort of secular balance with like more traditional values. And it's like what this really is, and even as Arielle is pointing out, it's really classical liberals versus, you know, neoliberals and more radical left. It's there. I don't see a single conservative person on this. Maybe they're voting conservative, but you know, like for like the presidential election. But I don't see a single. I don't hear a single truly conservative person on this panel.
And we haven't really moved. Like, people call me a grifter, whatever they want to call me. I haven't moved over the years. I've been stagnant. Like, I am set in my morals. I'm in my mid-30s.
Yeah, Helena Blavatsky says they call Joe Rogan far right. Yeah, exactly. That's like, it just goes to show how much it doesn't mean anything. They call Kelly J. Keene far right. You know, Kelly J. Keene is secular. I think she's like an atheist. She's obviously believes in, you know, like women's progress and things like that. And it's like, yeah, no, she's more of a classical liberal, same thing, you know.
Like, I know where I'm at. And people, mainly the LGBT, whatever community, moved further and further left. I stayed where I was, and somehow I was the one that was ostracized.
Well, that's because what used to be moderate is now considered conservative. And what?
Yeah, I do think it's interesting that they didn't put a transbian on this panel. I kind of wish they would have, just so that we could have like really dealt with that conversation and heard those, because it's like okay, so this is all lesbians, so you didn't have a single transbian, you know, are you saying that they're not valid? Maybe
what used to be your general liberal, which I think a lot of us at one point probably aligned ourselves with, is no longer that. It is so far past that, which, you know, I had to draw a hard line. I'm not with this anymore.
We all can have different beliefs. You can be this race and still think this way, or be gay and think this way. So it's just really sad to see. And I feel like, you know, our community has been used so much to push other things. Like 100%. We're being used as a shield. So everyone...
Queers for Palestine? Really? Go to Palestine as a queer person. See what happens.
Hold on for 1 second. Guys, I'm sorry. Someone just walked into my house. Give me a second. Shoot, guys, I'm so sorry. You know, I actually have to go. That was unexpected. It would have been nice if someone had called me, but they did not. All right, I gotta go. I'll call you guys later. I'll check in with you guys later. I gotta go. I'm so sorry. And we'll finish this later. I know. I'm sorry. Unexpected. Bye.